Today, I wanted to tell you guys about the time I did my Bufo Alvarius ceremony. Now, Bufo Alvarius is the name of a toad that produces a venom on its back that, when inhaled, causes this experience. For those of you who are new, my name is Tiffany, and this is my channel, Growing Up Shaman, where I tell true stories about non ordinary reality from a shaman's perspective. So, this story happened back in February of 2022. And I was in Tulum, Mexico, where the Bufo Alvarius Sanctuary is. There, they provide lodging and plant medicine of different types, but I was only doing the Bufo. And to be honest with you, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And I think if I did know, I probably not have done it. So I'm glad I didn't know because it was very, very helpful. I cannot tell you how much I've changed since I've done the ceremony. But basically, what they do is they take you into a teepee with two facilitators, one male and one female, and then they have you inhale the smoke from this venom that's been crystallized, and immediately I found myself hallucinating so strongly. And then within seconds, I was falling down onto my back where I fell onto a pile of pillows. Now, although I'm sure I looked unconscious, I was not. I had my full awareness with me, but I had no longer had use of my body because I was pure spirit, and I seemed to be traveling through what seemed to be like a wormhole because I was passing all of the stars throughout the universe. And I found myself at the end of the universe with what I call the creator. And it was such an amazing experience to be there at the edge of creation, just seeing this void that was being filled with the stars getting pushed out. And I don't know how long I was with my creator, but I know it wasn't what I expected. I guess I was expecting a fully enveloped feeling of love, and that's not what I felt. But regardless, once I did return back to my body, I immediately like came back to consciousness from an outsider's point of view, and immediately put myself into a yoga position known as the cobra pose. Now, for those of you who don't know, the cobra pose involves you laying on your tummy, but doing a back bend with the top half of your body. And in my version of this pose, I had my weight on my elbows, and my neck was all the way back, and my mouth was completely open like a snake's. And it reminded me so much of that scene in The Fifth Element. I don't know if you guys have seen that movie with Bruce Willis and Mia Jovovich, but in the one of the last scenes, Bruce Willis is holding the supreme being, and she's trying to give up on life, and he's trying to get her to continue. And he tells her he loves her, and then this power of love just starts flowing out of her mouth. Like she does that same thing that I was doing in my ceremony. She does this in the movie where she's got her head back, and the power of the universe is just shooting out of her mouth, and it defeats the power of darkness and chaos, and that's what I felt like I was experiencing. And then as soon as that was done, I remember just collapsing onto the floor and just crying and crying and crying. And in my mind, I was in a tunnel of sorrow. And I also felt like I was reaching back through my bloodline, like literally through my DNA, and was releasing all of this karma from not only my life, but from all of my ancestors that have come before me. And so it just felt like a great lifting, like of sorrow. That's the only way I can describe it. But I had to go through that tunnel to do it, and I felt like I was in there forever. But because I had no concept of time during this ceremony. You are in spirit form, and barely on, have one foot in the physical world and one foot in the spiritual world realm. And I remember the female facilitator all of a sudden just gently moved my hair over to the side, and I immediately snapped out of this tunnel, and I sat up, and I sat up cross-legged, and suddenly my hips start doing this thing. And I was like, what in the world is going on? I'm looking down, going, how is this happening? Because it looked like I was a belly dancer that knew how to just move the hips, but not the top part of the body. And so my hips are just doing this. And I have come to find out that that was my Kundalini rising. And I feel like earlier, when I had the power of the universe running through my body, it had cleared any and all blockages that I had through me. And I'm pretty sure I had some blockages in my sacral chakras and solar chakras, and probably all of them, to be honest with you. Um, but anyways, they were cleared, and I felt like I was at full potential. And anyways, after I was done with that state of mind of feeling like I was a snake, essentially, I suddenly felt like I was a jaguar. And I got on all fours, and I started just like walking through the teepee just slowly. And I swear I felt like I was a jaguar. And not only just a jaguar, but a jaguar that had been living its whole life in the branches, hidden, hiding from everyone. It explained why I always felt so introverted. And it's because of all the trauma that I had been through as a child. I had, even as a young jaguar, I had been uh, living my life up in the branches, far away from people, where I could protect myself if anyone were to even look at me sideways. I felt like I was at a far enough distance where I could protect myself. And I had finally come down from those branches, and I was walking the earth for the very first time at full potential, 100%. I had never felt that way before, never. And I had never felt so powerful. Um, I just felt so good, so light, so wonderful. And eventually, the medicine was done with me, and I returned back to my human form, and I was like sitting normal and not acting like a jaguar. And the facilitators actually left the teepee to allow me to, reorient myself, because I had just gone through the universe and back, and basically shape shifted into a snake, and then a jaguar, and then finally back to myself. It was quite the trip. And I felt like a completely different person. Um, as a backstory, I had actually been depressed before I went on that vacation, and I had been through a pretty bad breakup, and I had uh, gone the traditional route of trying like antidepressants to pull myself out of this state, but three different medications later, and none of it was working. And it's because it wasn't a problem with the chemicals in my brain. It was actual a soul injury that I had endured during that breakup. And it was going to take something as powerful as plant medicine to heal my soul. And I can tell you, I felt the depths of my soul during that ceremony. It was it was amazing. It was more than just one lifetime. And I just felt like I was a different person afterwards, completely, 100%. And I remember when right before the facilitators came back to get me out, I remember checking my phone to see what time it was, and I noticed there was a notification on my notes. And I didn't even know you could get notifications from your notes app on the iPhone, but apparently you can. And I clicked on it to see what it was, and It was this strangest thing. Seemed like it was a note from the universe to me about the ceremony that I had just gotten out of. And if you stay till the end, I'll actually show you that note. I found it absolutely amazing. And anyways, what else was I going to say about that? Oh, just that when I got back to the states, I remember my doctor telling me that my eyes look different. And I remember feeling that the very first time I looked in a mirror after I had my ceremony was like, man, what is up with my eyes? They look completely different. I couldn't pinpoint it, but I felt like there were just different eyes looking out at me. Um, but anyways, my doctor did notice it too, and I thought that was a trip. But everybody noticed a change in me afterwards. I just felt so much more extroverted. I just felt like I didn't have a care in the world. I felt like I loved the world and the world loved me back. I was having the strangest experiences with complete strangers. For example, one time I was walking downtown here in Bastrop, going to some drum circle thing, and I was stopped by this mother and her daughter, who must have been about 11 or 12. And she was like, "Oh my God, you look so beautiful. You look like are you a model?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "Can I take a picture of you?" And I'm like, "Okay." And so she wanted to take a picture of me. And then I remember when I was coming back from um, that same drum circle, I had another lady want to stop and take a picture of me. She had some little thing going on, like in between, like in this alley between two buildings, and she had all these lights set up where you could like strike a pose. And I was doing more than striking a pose. I was just like dancing and twirling and just in in the zone, I guess. Um, but, yeah, and then I went to a restaurant one time, with my daughter who, I was, like, in my late 40s and my daughter's, like, in her mid-20s, and, the waiter came up to me, like, at the end of our dinner, and he just wanted to, tell me how beautiful I was, and wanted to thank me for representing, and I was just like, "Where did this come from?" I was in shock because my daughter is so much more beautiful than me. She is just an absolute angel, and, he was just focusing on me, and I just thought that was odd, but, it was just like this afterglow that I had from the ceremony that seemed to last for months. I mean, it lasted until I, went back to Mexico and ended up doing an ayahuasca ceremony. So, that is a different video that I will tell on a different day. But anyways, I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a like and, become a subscriber if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell if you want to get notified the next time I post a video. Anyways, I hope you will share a comment, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.